Howdy guys, Kel Kellogg here. I'm out hiking with Lucy. We're doing some exploring. We're getting some exercise in. We hiked way down to the bottom of the North Fork of the American River Canyon. I'm standing next to one of Northern California's great rivers here. Loaded with gold and also loaded with fish, but we're not here to talk about river fishing today. I just got back from spending 4 days up at Collins Lake, and I wanted to report back to you guys about the conditions there and some of the conditions across Northern California. So first thing, broad view, well, the really broad view is that we are going to have an exceptional spring. Our lakes are full of fish and they're also filling up with water. A lot of our waters are full to the brim, like Collins Lake. Collins Lake is actually 18 inches over the top of the spillway at this time, and water is going down the creek. It's a great sight to see after all the drought years. Collins hasn't been full since 2017, so that's wonderful. The bigger lakes around our region, you know, Shasta, Don Pedro, New Melones, that's where you're gonna find the clearest water. A lot of the smaller lakes are muddy and cloudy. Collins is certainly muddy, but I'm gonna say that shouldn't dissuade you from getting out on the water. Even at the bigger impoundments, you're gonna be dealing with cold water that does have some color in it, so you're gonna have to work for every strike. If you wanna go to a smaller lake like Collins or Amador, to name two, you're gonna be dealing with cold, muddy water, but there are some very, very nice fish to be caught. You gotta put in your time. Collins Lake right now is 46 degrees in the morning. It can spike up as high as 50 degrees in the afternoon on a calm day, and that's pretty good. The water clarity ranges from 1 foot to 2 feet at best. If you get a wind, like I had a north wind this week, it gets pretty muddy. You're getting that wave action up against the muddy shoreline, and it muddies up the water. But we had very good success over the past 7 days or so, and we caught some very large fish. Last Saturday, one of Wes's clients caught a 6-pounder. The next day, Sunday, one of his clients got a 10. This week, my top fish, got that yesterday, it was a 6-pounder. And I got a lot of fish that were anywhere from, 2.5 to 3.5 pounds. Might have got one over 4. But bottom line is, if you stuck to it and you put in your time and you dealt with the challenging conditions, you caught fish. Now, I don't think there's 1/2 of 1% of the total fish swimming around out there that are actively feeding right now. And again, that bodes very well for the spring. When the bite kicks loose at places like Collins and Amador and Folsom, we are gonna have absolutely incredible, epic spring fishing, and you wanna be ready for that. I was looking back at some of my past videos, and I found that last year, I started getting fish pretty consistently on the troll by around the 10th of March. And if that plays out this year, we've got about 5 more weeks before we're gonna get into hardcore trolling. Now, this week at the lake, I caught fish on power bait. I caught fish shallow on power bait. I marked fish all over the lake, but there were some concentrations of fish. And I spent a lot of time soaking the baits in shallow water, so that's where I caught the fish. I don't know that if I had worked deeper, I saw a lot of fish holding 18 to 20 feet deep. I don't know if I'd worked deeper, if I'd have caught those fish or hooked those fish on power bait. What I do know is I've kind of figured out my anchoring system better. For a long time, I couldn't anchor much deeper, double anchor the boat much deeper than about 12 feet. Therefore, I was fishing a lot of shallow water. But at the end of the day, I figured out how to get the boat stabilized in much deeper water. And the next time I hit the lake here in a couple days, I'm gonna be exploring some deeper areas as well. When you're bait fishing, spend, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour per spot. If you have a lot of confidence in the spot, go ahead and spend an hour. But if you haven't hooked a fish in an hour, move somewhere else. You don't have to make a big long move. You don't need to cut across the lake. You might only have to move 100 yards. But by all means, if you don't catch a fish in an hour, go try another spot, okay? Garlic green power bait has been the best for us, but we fish a lot of garlic green power bait. The other colors are probably working. I'm spiking everything with garlic plus Procure, try to say that a few times, the super gel, and I'm also rubbing either Monster Bite or Slamola powder in with my power bait, and I think that gives me a real edge. If you're gonna fish lakes that have, you know, risen a lot, you're gonna be dealing with sticks and grass and stuff like that. So upsize your leaders. You wanna be using an 8 to 10 pound test leader with your power bait, because you're gonna have to pull those fish out of some grass, out of some brush. They might hang up on a bush. You might have to work them out. So just be prepared for that kind of fishing. It's kind of unique here in California to have to deal with that kind of stuff. But hey, I love catching fish in a unique situation, and we had a lot of fish caught in bushes and stuff this week. Moving on, we have gotten shots of trolling. I've done well slow trolling on some very nice fish. I've also done well power trolling when I had to power troll. I've hooked fish on rapalas and speed shad. I haven't got anything on a fly, which is kind of surprising. On the slow side, I didn't play with a lot of different baits. I pulled my Trout Trix worms, got nothing on those. I pulled my trigger minnows for only about an hour one day, and 15 minutes into the troll, 10 feet deep, an orange one, I caught a very nice rainbow. So slow trolling, fast trolling works. You know, pick your shots on the trolling. You want to troll at the time of the day when the water temperature is the highest. And if you hit the lake and you got a lot of wind and you can't get your boat stabilized, or you don't feel comfortable beaching your boat to fish bait, you know, kick up that speed, put on those rapalas, the speedy shiners, the fast stuff, cover ground. Find that 1/2 of 1% of the fish that are willing to chase, that are willing to grab, and you're going to be successful. Again, guys, it's all about patience right now with the cloudy water and the cold water. Put in your time, attention to detail, and you're going to catch some fish. I'm not ripping on him. My buddy Richard and his fishing buddy Ron were out at the lake this week. They were trolling night crawlers behind a turbo flasher. They're out there yesterday. They hooked an absolute monster and they lost it. They had a real malfunction. Things weren't going their way. Bottom line is, you gotta pay attention to details, because there are some very large fish up for grabs. And after you worked, you know, for that hookup, you don't want to lose a big fish. So double check everything: the reel, the drag, the line, the knots, the hooks. Don't leave anything to chance, because you're going to work hard for that hookup and you want to convert that into a fish in the box. Richard was out with me a couple years ago. He got a 12-pounder and he told me the fish they lost was that size or bigger. Oh my, those don't come around very often. So anyway, that's kind of the picture around Northern California. If you want to deal with clearer water, hit the big impoundments. Don't shy away from the smaller lakes. If those are your home lakes, by all means, get out to Amador, get out to Collins. The fish are there. The action is fair to good, and action is going to be fantastic very shortly. Get all your ducks in a row, figure out where you're going, when you're going, what you're going to need, what you're going to be pulling, because this spring season, you can take it from me, it's going to be absolutely outstanding. I'll be back at you real soon here on YouTube, guys. Lucy and I, we got to hike out of this canyon. We got some work ahead of us. We're going to kind of kick around on this big gravel bar a little bit more, and then we are going to start climbing. You have a great day.